All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Social Media Fridays. So this week we're going to be talking about how to create a podcast, and this one is going to be, like I said in the group, a little bit advanced. This might be a little bit challenging for some of you guys, but that's okay. Feel free to take notes, and also this will be recorded so that you can watch it later. But I've been noticing that. Well, I created my podcast a while ago, and one of the things that I've been wanting to do, and I haven't done it until now, is actually take some of the interviews that we've been doing and converted it into a podcast. So I was working on that this morning, and I set it up so that I can show you guys how to basically convert your video files. So like, let's say you have a great interview on Instagram, or Facebook, or wherever you have it, and you're like, you know what, I want to take this audio and put it onto a podcast so I can send people a link. Maybe they're driving. I tell people to listen to the podcast. You can listen while you're driving, you can listen while you're on the walk, you can listen while you're running, you could listen while you're maybe doing the dishes, you listen while you're cooking, listen while you're in the bathroom. There's so many, listen while you're at the gym. There's so many different ways that you can listen to podcasts. It could be a little bit easier for people to maybe listen while they're doing something versus, hey, watching this video. So that's the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and give you guys some examples and some stuff about podcast. So first of all, let's see, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is just the general, like for me, what I use for my podcast. So this right here is called Anchor. Okay, it was bought out by Spotify. So most of you guys could know by Spotify. It's basically a company within Spotify. And so this particular platform, Anchor, I like them because what's great about Anchor is that it's free. And you could use it on your phone, or you could use it on the computer, and you could record your podcast from there. When I first did my very first podcast, I just did it on my phone. I pressed the start record button. It started recording. I entered the information and then I uploaded it. What's also great about this one is that it has like all these different like platforms that it goes to automatically. So when I upload a podcast, like I put it in there, for example, and I say, okay, this is the podcast that I want to upload, and I enter the information, it's going to go to Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Amazon Music, Castbox, like all these different places automatically. So it's not like I need to put my podcast on every single place. It's just upload one spot, and it takes care of all of them. So if I were to upload a new episode and I'm like, okay, I got a new one ready to go, I want to upload this one, what I'm going to do is click on new episode, and then I can create an episode like from scratch, like brand new, or I can upload one that I already edited. Kind of like, imagine you were uploading, to your story on Instagram. You could choose to upload something that you already have, a video that you already created, or you can create a video right there in the moment. It's the same thing in just audio. So let's say I wanted to quick upload. So I already edited. Well, let's just go to create an episode. Okay, so here is just creating an episode. So you have a few options. You could record it. Oh, really quick, there are other platforms that you could use that you can upload your podcast to. This is called like, I don't know what the term is called, but it's like it's like where they distribute it. But like there's other ones, some cost money, some are free. There's a few different ones, but I really like this one. This one's a great one. So you could record right from here. So you could imagine I click it and I would just start talking, and I could record a podcast right now. I can reuse one that was previously uploaded in the library. I can add some songs from Spotify to my episode if I want to add some music. I could add some messages. So there's some things here, but like I don't really use any of this stuff. I edit it and then I upload it directly to it. So it's already ready to go. So if I wanted to create one, or I was ready to go, I could click here and I would say upload. or drag files, and then I would select, the audio file that I wanted, right? I'll just use a short one as an example because I'm going to use these as an example in a minute. All right, so let's say I'm uploading this one. It's going to start processing. And then when it's done processing, you could preview it, listen to it. And then there are options on this one to add ads. So you could add ads to it. Okay, if you like this one and you're ready to go, then you could save the changes. And then it's going to take you to the next screen to basically upload and publish. So here you would enter, what you want to call the episode, what's the name, you could enter a description. And you could even add links to it too. It's kind of like an email in a way. Like you could add hyperlinks. So if you want like a link to your gift code, maybe you're like, hey, here's a link to my gift code if you want to purchase now because you loved what we were talking about the ultimate lifestyle transformation or whatever you're talking about. You can have the publish date be like whenever you want. It could be in the future. It could be published to now. So there's a few options that you could do before you publish it. And then you could edit the audio as well. There's some other things. I mean, I don't really use all of this stuff, but you could add polls. You could add a Q&A as well. So people could ask questions. You could title the seasons and episodes as you go. Like, I think I'm in my 3rd season right now on my podcast. That's just up to you if you want to have seasons or you just never have a season. I mean, Joe Rogan's podcast, I don't know if he does seasons. It's probably just, there are no seasons, just episodes. And then you could like make it, if it's explicit, like you're cussing a lot or whatever, then you want to make it explicit. There's just some other things. Okay. So then you click publish now. All right. So that's just like the basics of uploading it, right? Kind of the simples of uploading, but you're like, how do you get to this point? So I'm going to explain how you get to this point, because I think that that's where you guys really, really need to know and what you want to understand. So I'm going to give you an example on my Instagram. All right. This particular video is with Mike Parsons right here. Okay. So this is an Instagram live that I did with Mike. And the reason why I chose this one is this was actually on Mike's channel, not on my channel, right? And it was me sharing my story. And part of the reason why I chose this one is one of my brand partners actually said, hey, that was a really great interview that you had with Mike. And I think you really shared your story really well. And it kind of stuck with me. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll share that one on the podcast, right? It was like my idea. So what I did is I found this one and I liked it. Right. And so now the next step that I need to do is, okay, well, now I need to, how do I get this audio from this video? Right. So like, that's the next step. Right. So there's a couple things that you could do. Right. So first you want to copy the link. Right. So let me hit the 3 dots. So copy the link, and you could do this on your phone as well. So this is on the computer. On the phone, I usually will you could download an app. You could just download like an app that's just search it. Just search convert video to audio. And I'm sure there's a bunch of apps that you just take the video and you convert it to audio. So if that's the case, right? So like, let's say you need to convert the video to audio. Well, first you might need to get the video. So here's something on the that you could use to get the video. So let's say you wanted to download that particular video, because that's what I did. I downloaded the video. I use this app. It's called igram.io. So then I download the video, right? That's one way. I'm going to give you a couple options. So you could just download the video and then convert the video to audio, right? That's one option, right? So I would just paste the link in here and then download it, and then it'd be available for download. Okay. So another one is video to audio converter, right? So if I had the video, I would upload it to here, the video, and then it would convert it to an audio file. So it would change the video into an audio. So this one is, I literally just Googled this, like I Googled convert video to audio, but this one is audio dash convert. I'll just copy this and put it in the chat if that's easier. I don't know if that's easier. Where'd the chat go? Oh, here. All right, so let me go back to that. This. All right, so that's how you can convert. That's how you get the video file or the audio file, right? So I would take the video. So let me give you an example. Let's say I take a video. Let's say this one. This is the video, the live with Mike. So I downloaded the video. And now I selected it and I want to convert it to MP3 file. MP3 is like you guys probably familiar with MP3. That's the audio file, one of the most common ones. There's a few different audio files. And then I convert it, right? And then once it's converted, then I can download it to my computer. All right. So then once I have the audio file, like that's the most important thing, because I need the audio file in order to upload it to make it a podcast, right? All right, cool. So I just let a few people in. So let me see the screen here. Okay, you had a question. What was the first option? This one. This is downloading the video directly. So igram.io. I'll put that in the chat as well. All right. So now you're ready to take that audio file that you have. You save the audio file, and now you're ready to make it. You're ready to make it into a video, right? Or I mean, into an audio file. So the app that I best use for this one is called Audacity on the computer. This is for editing audio. This is going to be more advanced. Now, if you want to edit the audio and you want to add an intro and you want to make it a little bit more nice, this is a great editing tool because it's free. I'll type this one in the chat as well. This one is free, Audacity. All right. If someone could mute, I think Carla, you can mute. All right. So I'm going to show you an example on how to edit the audio to make it look really, really nice. And you could totally customize it any way that you want. Now, this might take some time as far as editing the audio. You could take the audio file that you have and just upload it directly if you really, really want. So the audio file that I just downloaded, I converted the video to make it an audio file. That could be just uploaded directly like I showed you guys before. I'll just go to that one more time. You could go to the Anchor like I showed you guys before, and you could just upload that audio file, which I have right here. Okay, we still have someone. Let me mute. Carla. Mute. There we go. All right, so as far as creating like I showed you this one, you could just upload it directly and it'd be totally fine. But if you want to make it nicer, you want to have maybe an intro, maybe you want to have some music, or maybe you want to make it at least maybe sound a little bit better, this is what you can do. So I'm going to show you guys this. So I'm going to go to a recent one because I just saved one. So I can show you guys. Okay. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me just do one from scratch. I'll show you guys from scratch. Okay. So I'm going to create a new one. So this is a brand new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that. Well, actually, what I want to do first, actually, let me just show you this one. This will be better. So what I needed to do for the one that I just created is I needed to create an intro for it. So for me, I wasn't just going to have the Instagram live with Mike just start off, because when it started, it was Mike talking. So Mike was just talking, and someone listening to my podcast might be confused. We're like, hey, what's going on? Who's this guy talking? So I had myself, I just recorded, it's a 30-second intro, and I just kind of shared a little bit about what the podcast is going to be about. So I'll just play that really quick so that you guys can see. And then I'll show you how I was able to edit that as well, so that it can sound kind of the way that it did. And I just did this literally, I just had my regular microphone. I do have a good microphone for podcast, but I just did this with my basic headphones that I'm listening right now, nothing special and nothing really fancy. And this is just the intro. Let me know if you, Mike, yeah, Mike, I like that you're on this. All right, so let me play it and let me know if you could hear it. All right. Can you guys hear that? No, cannot. Dang, that's unfortunate. All right, well, unfortunately you can't hear it, but what I'm saying is basically, welcome to the podcast. On this episode, I'm going to be having I'm going to be talking about, or I'm going to be sharing a live for my Instagram. So be sure to follow my Instagram for more. And so something along those lines. So I was basically setting it up and saying that, hey, this podcast is going to be a little bit different from my normal ones. It's going to be Instagram live, right? So this is just a 30-second intro that I recorded, and I'm going to show you guys really quickly how I edited this and how I made it the way that it is. All right, so at the very top, let me see what the best way I want to show you. Let me go back. Okay, that's fine. All right, so right here, you have what's called the record button. If I hit the record button, this red one, this is going to start recording whatever I speak. So I start right here and it's going to pick up any sounds that I'm saying. It's just like, as you would imagine, recording anything, right? So it's picking up everything that I'm saying right now, and it's recording the information down. When I'm done, I would just hit stop. So that's how I recorded my intro. I just started talking. Okay, I had pressed record and I just started talking, and now it has the information saved and I can edit it or do some different things with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share with you guys in the chat real quick a great video that shares how to edit very simply. It's only 5 minutes, I think. How long is this? I think it's only like a 5-minute video. I can't see my whole screen. Yeah, whatever, almost 6 minutes. It's very short. I'm going to share this one in the chat. You guys can save this one. And what's great about this video is it's so simple, and it explains how to edit your voice and make it sound nice. It explains how to do it. So I'm just going to show you guys kind of briefly, like a couple things, but I'm not going to go into it too deep because it can be a little bit complicated and overwhelming. But the video really, really explains it well, and it's really, really simple. So you guys can save that one. But basically, there's a couple things that you can do with this audio, like, for example, you can cut out the background noise. So if there was a fan going on, or if there was some background noise, you can edit and take out the background noise. And it's pretty simple. It's really simple. I'll just give you a small example so you can understand what that video is about. But basically, you would highlight a part of the audio where there's no sound, where you're not speaking. So it's picking up whatever's in the background. You would go to the effect, and there's all kinds of effects that you can do. And there's one that you want to do noise reduction. So you're reducing the noise. And the first thing that you would do is get the noise profile. So it's processing that information within that part that you highlighted. Get the noise profile. Then I would select all of this by, Control A to select all, or I can just highlight everything. Then I would go back to effect, hit noise reduction, and then press OK. And what that's doing is it's basically reducing all of the noise in the background on everything else. So it's taking that noise profile and it's applying and it's reducing it on everywhere else in the entire audio. There's other things that you could do that it'll talk about, like this one, where you can increase the bass, for example, and that just makes it sound a little bit better. So you do a bass boost, you press OK, and it'll change it a little bit, right? So I'll show you one more. It's called compressor. You don't have to memorize all this because it's in the video. because it's be better, you'll need to watch that. I needed to watch that video several times when I wanted to do this. So compressor, for example, is going to compress it and make it smaller, so it's not quite a bigger file, and you can see that it changes the way that the lines look that I was speaking before. All right, so really quick, I'm going to give you an example of one. So I'm going to go to one that I just did recently. And this will be, oh, it's already opened another window. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this one right here, this is what this one right here is. This highlighted part right here, this is the intro. Okay, so this part is the part that I recorded, that 30-second intro. I edited the audio to make it sound a little bit better on the video that I showed you. Okay, what I also did was I took the whole video the whole interview is right here. So this is it. It was like 30 minutes long, 30 whatever minutes long. And I also added a little bit of music in the beginning, just a little bit of music to kind of, and I kept the music at a low volume, so it's not overtaking. You could hear the music a little bit in the background and you could hear the voices speaking. I just added some intro music. That's all that I did. And then after that, when I was done with adding that, because it really wasn't that complicated, it was just a few things. And the video explains it really, really well, how to edit, how to do what I did. Then when I'm done, I just hit file, and then I export it as an MP3. So then it saves it all together as an MP3, and I'll show you guys where I saved that. So that is going to be saved, and I can just choose the file wherever I want it. So I have, for me, I have all my podcast stuff right here. And it was this is my most recent one. So what I did is I had saved the audio unedited. So this is the audio file that I took from Instagram. I saved the audio. Oh no, this one, the live audio unedited. This was the video. And this was the final audio, and this was the intro. Okay, so this is everything together, the final piece. So this is the piece that I want to upload onto my podcast. Okay, so I want to take that one and upload it to a new episode. I made the edits that I need. And now I'm going to go onto Anchor. I'm going to not do this one because this was my example one. So I could remove from episode. I'm going to, I'll just start from the beginning. So if I go to the main site. Oh, by the way, creating it is really easy. You know what I mean? You can go to this site, Anchor. I'll put in the chat, anchor.fm. Where'd the chat go? Can someone put that in the chat? For some reason, I can't get back to the chat. Just anchor.fm, basically. And then you just create an account, and you choose your name of your podcast. You can choose a picture, just kind of like setting up any kind of typical, setting up a profile or setting up a new social media. They're very, very similar. Oh, there's the chat. There we go. Okay, I lost that one for a second. All right, so I'm creating a new episode. So I'm going to press new episode, create an episode. And then I'm going to click here to upload. Then I'm going to enter the one that I had the final. It was the final audio, and it has that little logo for an audio file. And now it's going to be processing. If I had any ads or whatever, this would be where I can put ads in, because this one you could do paid ads on this one. I used to have that, but I took it out. So once it's done processing, I can hit save changes. And then I can enter the information on the episode. What do I want to call it? What kind of description do I want to add to it? and whatever. You can just keep it super simple. You can make it as complicated. I mean, I've have some episodes I have in the past, I have timestamps where I asked questions. We're all like, while I'm editing, I'll go through and I'll write down every mark that I asked a question, and I'll put that in the description so they can click on that timestamp and go right to that part. I also do that on my YouTube videos as well. So you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. You could even get a microphone. You could have a whole setup. You could soundproof your walls. You can make this you can have a studio. You can make this as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. You could record a podcast from your phone, right? Directly on just using your regular basic, like this is the cheapest, I'm wearing and using the cheapest microphone, like the cheapest headset right now. And I recorded this podcast on the cheapest headset, right? So then next to hit save changes, and now I can enter the information. So I am actually going to upload this one. I'm going to think about what I want to write, and do a few other things to it. Think about what the name of the episode do I want to call it, and what information do I want to put on there, and maybe I don't know exactly what I'll do with some of this other stuff. But I will save it as a draft for now. If I wanted to publish it, I could publish it now. It would be live. I could send the link. I could send the link to anyone. So I'm going to just save this as a draft. Oh, it won't let me do this. Okay, well, I'll just come back to this. All right. Let me see if I could show you if I had the link. Like, let's say if I had an episode, right? That I wanted to share to someone. You could also do it from your phone too, but like, let's say this one, I had healing autoimmune diseases with someone. I did an interview with this guy. And so you just copy the link, just like anything, and then you can share that to someone. But also it's available on, like I said, it's available on all these other platforms. So you can go see like the other information, like let's say iTunes or Apple Podcast. Like you want to share your Apple Podcast link, it's all right here, or your Google Podcast link. And so you could send that to people. So that's why when someone asks like about my podcast, I'm like, well, where do you listen to podcasts? And most likely I have a place for it. I also have it on my YouTube, so they could watch it there as well. And that's more, that's a little bit more challenging, to be honest. Doing video podcast and doing audio is a little bit harder. But just a simple audio one is pretty simple. So I'm going to stop share right now because I know I gave a lot of information. I'll give you guys an opportunity for some questions, or if there's anything else, that you guys want to ask about this, or that you want me to go over again or something. So so it's open for you guys. What questions do you have? I know not everyone was here from the beginning, but that's okay. You can unmute yourself if you like, or ask in the chat box. I'm looking at the chat right now. If there is anything that I missed.
Hey, just a quick one. Just in regards to like the subject matters that you usually cover. I heard that I heard a bit of what you were saying in regards to like the autoimmune diseases and those kind of subjects. I think at the moment, my main concern is the amount of material that one could use for the podcast itself. I'm pretty new myself. I've only just come into the organization, so I don't know if I've missed anything at all. But
yeah, I totally understand you. In my mind, some of the like, I would say that some of the best ones that you could do if you wanted to do a podcast is like interviewing other people. You know what I mean? I think that that's pretty simple. And so like that particular one about autoimmune disease, I had interviewed someone about autoimmune diseases, and but that was designed for a podcast. That wasn't like I did a live and then I converted it, right? And you could do it both ways. You can convert it, or you can say, you know what, this I am going to record this and it's going to be a podcast. And that's totally up to you. But I would say that from what everyone is already doing within the company, a lot of people already have so many interviews. A lot of people, some are new, right? You're just starting, because we go live. We ask people's story. We did last month, I think we did, a lot of people did 30 days of transformation stories. So every single day they had an interview with someone and asking about their transformation story and hearing their story. And all of that content could be converted to a podcast, you know what I mean, that you could share as well. It's just in my mind, it's just another way to make it easier for someone to be able to listen to something, and they might not be on YouTube, or they might not be on Instagram, or they might not be on Facebook, but hey, you know what, you can listen to this, maybe you can listen to this podcast while you're on the go or something like that. So that's just the idea behind it. Does that answer the question, or that help?
Yeah, very much so. Thank you for that.
This is not a requirement, by the way. This is just an option. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing these social media trainings, and it's like, I don't do every single thing that I talk about on the training. Sometimes I'm just teaching, something that I know. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm teaching. I'm just bringing someone on so that they're the expert and they're the one that's teaching, and I'm actually learning. I'm the student in that case. And so this is just another option, and it might suit you. I know there's some people that are just so, like, I had an interview with someone yesterday, by the way, and he's very camera shy, and he was on another team, but we did a private Zoom, kind of like this, but it was just me and him, and he has an incredible voice, like a great voice. You have a great voice too, by the way, Curtis. And he has such a great voice, and I was like, you could do a podcast if you're shy and you're camera shy, but you like to talk. Like, this could be your medium. This could be your place. And I personally think I don't have a great voice. Like, honestly, like in my mind, I don't think I have like a podcast voice or a radio voice, when you hear like those type of voices, and that was actually something I was self-conscious in the very beginning. I didn't like my voice in the beginning. I learned to like it, and I learned to enjoy my voice, and I know it is what it is. But at the same time, that I was self-conscious about my voice in the beginning. Even editing it, I was like, I hate hearing my voice. I'd hear it over and over, but then I just got used to it. Like, it was just like, now, how when you first hear your voice back, it's like, that's what I sound like, right?
It's a bit novel at first, isn't it? And then you just it wears off after a while.
Yeah, so. But now I'm like, okay, now I know what I sound like because I hear it all the time. All right, that was great question. Any other questions? Is this something that you guys think that you might use? Like, you might be like, you know what, I could definitely see myself doing this. Like, I could actually see myself, taking some of my interviews before and doing it, or maybe even just doing it, whatever, from the scratch. Okay, go ahead, Juniper.
Too many buttons. Awesome. Yes, so I didn't want to speak out of turn, but I commend you for doing this. Thank you. I will use this to happen. So thank you with all the tools in the Kind Human Tribe, if that's okay with you, and just to support. Like, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing this good knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You were cutting out a little bit, but it did sound like you were saying just a appreciation and thank you for everything. And yeah, I think it's important. And actually, to be honest, I had done this in the past, like training, like more detailed training, you know what I mean? Like actually walking people through it in the past, like, and for a cost, like for charging them. So this is something I've done like paid before that I'm doing free right now. The actual podcast training. Let me see, Mallory. Okay, go ahead, Mallory. I didn't read your question yet in the chat, but go ahead and speak.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that, like, thanks for holding this. I'm not really like good with technology and this kind of stuff, and it always kind of like intimidates me, but I'm glad to like have this seed planted within me to like open up to the idea of it and get familiar with it so it doesn't feel so alien to me, because I really do like the thought of having podcasts and having episodes. And I just I'm happy to be like introduced to it. So thank you. And I'm definitely gonna explore. I want to explore like all of the effects that I can do, and it's cool to have another platform to like create on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like I remember when I first was, I remember there was this guy and he was editing videos and I was just thinking like, dang, you're so good at it. And he was like the way he would make the videos and it was so cool. And I knew nothing about computers or videos or anything. And I remember, and it wasn't that long ago. And I remember thinking like, dang, like how does someone get like that? How does someone get to learning like that? And it was just practicing and practicing and like saying, let me watch YouTube, let me watch another YouTube video on how to learn it. And it just took some time and there's a lot of trial and error for sure. And I think it was just, I was motivated to want to learn the technological stuff because I felt like I had a message that I really wanted to share. And I was like, everyone's eyes are online and I can't be in front of everyone. So how can I make my message shared amongst people that aren't around me in my immediate vicinity kind of thing. That was like my mindset in the beginning. I was like, how do I share this? How do I share what I learned more effectively? So, so I was like, I have to be better at communicating kind of what I'm trying to say. That's kind of how it all started, if that makes sense. All right, cool. Do we have any other questions? I think I saw some emojis or Mike shared a heart a minute ago. Also, Mike, when I share this one, you could share this one too.
That's perfect. I'll hitchhike on that all day. You can do all the legwork, fella.
That's what I did in the past before I would like do podcast with people and I would do the work, like create it and I would create the video and then they would tag. I remember one time it was a while ago, but I remember I did a podcast with someone and they were really good at video editing and they ended up taking the podcast and they put it on their YouTube and they made 3 little clips of it on their Instagram and they had like 60,000 followers or something. And I remember when they posted the first one, I woke up with like 100 new followers. I was like, oh my gosh, just because they had shared a clip, of the podcast that they edited, and yeah, it was just something like what you're saying, like, and that's also something that can help you grow. And that was part of how I grew in a lot of ways was doing interviews with people, talking to them, learning their story, and then creating it and sharing it. And then they end up sharing on their page. My mindset was always, I want to make this so good. That's why when I was making the little clips or the videos, I was like, I want to make this so good that they want to share it on their page. Like whether they did or they didn't, that was my mindset. I was like, I want it to be good enough where they want it on their page, and some did and some didn't, and so, but that was kind of the mindset. All right. Yeah, no worries, Carla. It's all good. I was like, just trying to figure out how to mute it. All right. So is there any other questions that anyone has before I let you guys go? No, I think that's it. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. And honestly, that little video, the YouTube video, will really explain how to edit. Like if you want to use that platform, it's free. Everything I showed is free, by the way. Anchor's free, Audacity's free, all those different converting apps, all that stuff was free. And so, yeah, as far as making it sound really nice, that video is 5 minutes and it really explains it well, and it's short and simple, and it explains it directly from that app. And I would watch that video every single time I edited until I had it memorized. And it was they only went over 5 or 6 different effects, so to speak, or editing tools, because it's not super complicated. And it was just enough. It was basically take out the sound in the background, how to take out the sound in the background, how to use like the features like cutting it, cut or whatever a piece out, how to add like some music, and how to, increase the bass and the treble, and how to cut out like if like for example, if I'm talking really loud and I'm like and I make like this loud like sound or whatever, it has like this huge spike on the sound waves, and it sounds bad in your ears, and how to cut that out. Basically, it shows you how to edit kind of that out, so to speak. And I didn't go into all that just because I was like, this is already a lot of information and kind of complicated. And I was like, I just think that adding all those little editing things would just be too overwhelming, but something that you can digest on your own time, I would say, through that video. And like, I'm not even lying. I watched that video every single time I made a podcast episode until I had it memorized, because it was pretty simple and easy. All right. So thank you guys. And I will be seeing you guys soon on the next one. And I'll share this one when it's available so that you guys will have the recording and be able to watch. You might need to watch some of those parts over again, I know, because it was a little bit quick, some pieces for sure. All right. Thank you all, and talk to you guys soon.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks, man.
I welcome love.